I can see Corey for who he is. He lame. He's lame. He's weird. He's like a. So let's talk about it. Coryxkenshin. I want to admit that I am late to the Coryxkenshin samurai community, but I am a samurai for sure. I admire the work that he's done on the platform. It is admirable and it is a goal. But yes, I am a samurai, but I probably didn't become a samurai until last year. You're going to hear the name Cory if you watch YouTube or watch any content creators in general. If you're like a YouTuber or aspiring YouTuber or anything, you're going to have heard the name Cory. But I didn't even know what he looked like. I didn't see his stuff. I was asleep, I guess you could say. Eventually, you're going to come around to that side of YouTube where Cory lives, and he's going to become the focal point of that. He's an awesome content creator, or I guess we could say gamer, honestly. I respect him in that sense of content creator gamer. I see Cory for who he is, you know. I'm like around that same age, so I can see Cory for who he is. He's a regular guy now. Now, if you go back and look at his old stuff, he lame. He's lame. He's weird. He's like a Cory used to be corny as hell. He used to have a perm, corny. Like, dude was weird. He was one of those weirdos in high school and whatever. But he's not that anymore. Weird. He is no longer weird. Maybe he's still a little corny. That's up for interpretation. He's not lame at all. Not from what we can see. I'm gonna venture to say, if you would have put Cory, some of his footage from 2014, and put it side by side with his footage from 2020 or better, I would swear to you it's a different person. It don't look like the same person, don't act like the same person. Cory is a blessed individual, having the opportunity to do something to where he's look like he's having the time of his life. He's able to work when he wants to. He's able to relax when he wants to. He's super blessed. But YouTube is a game that he's mastered, and I'm pretty sure that came with a price. You know how many people probably talked about his fronts? You know how many people talked about his hair? Talked about the way he talks? He had to deal with his insecurities right there on Front Street, in front of his face, staring back at him. How can you not change when you locked yourself into a situation like that? He dedicated himself to that. Like, literally dedicated himself to that. What do you expect? How do you navigate and accelerate without evolving? And guess what? That's what people do. So when you got people coming from 2017, 2016, 2018, trying to tell me about a Cory in 2025, the weight is not holding. You had the young Latina lady. She said she's Latina mixed with Asian. You had her come out of nowhere, the woodworks, throwing shade, but more like dirt, or more like shame, and almost trying to accuse Cory of something that seemed heinous at the time, just painting him in a different light. And see, it's a whole nother level to this conversation that I do understand. Condolences to anybody that was victimized. A lot of times with anybody, female or male, if you were victimized, that is most likely probably a lifetime full of therapy that would be needed there. But unfortunately, a lot of times in those situations, when you're dealing with young women that have been abused, what my mom used to call damaged goods. Dealing with those type of people as the male in that woman's life, you're gonna have a weight to carry sometimes that you don't even realize you're carrying. And it is not only physical, it is spiritual. Dealing with a woman that has been abused in that way. But we're not gonna go there, like I said. We're gonna get off of that. So you had her first, and then following her, you had a guy named Mavatak. So this is the whole point of it. You're getting mad because somebody changed. Because somebody grew past you. Because somebody doesn't hang with you anymore, talks to you less. And I get it. Trust me, I get it. Maybe he hurt you in the process. But I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. As far as the young lady is concerned, there is somebody out there right now, some young lady, that I'm sure could say the same thing and feels the same way about me. Feelings get hurt every day. Mavatak and the young lady just came out with a new video that is supposed to like double down and reinforce any and everything that went on. While they're sitting there reading scripts, it's just, I ain't gonna lie, it was cringe. It was the most cringe thing they could have done. The most cringe. I ain't gonna say nothing too crazy here because, I mean, I don't even really like. If I was Corey, I mean, I understand the position that he's in. He's not a married man. From what we know, he doesn't have any kids. I'm pretty sure they would have aired him out if he had all that going on. He probably ain't got no kids. So he's still in like a place where he's trying to settle into life. So that's probably why he hasn't said anything. But me? Man, please, bruh. Man, please, bruh. They wouldn't have nothing else to say after I made my statement. Nothing. It's like Corey was lame. And so was y'all. But maybe y'all was cool to him while he was lame. Corey created something huge. Corey evolved past y'all. And then eventually y'all weren't a part of what he created. And now y'all mad? Because he changed? People change. Period. It's just what happens in life. People freaking change. If the boat was rocking too hard for you to stay on board, that's just life. You fall off, you go to shore, you find you another boat, or you build a boat, or you do something, and you going about your business. Especially the Mavatak guy, I couldn't get it. And then he said he's bisexual, and I was like, okay. But to come online and talk about how another man did the females in his life so wrong and he hurt so many people's feelings. He didn't physically harm anybody. As a woman, take some accountability for putting yourself in a situation. It is not his fault that you continued to deal with him. That's not his fault. That's your fault. If he did a cycle of the same thing to you, you blaming him for the hurt that you willingly participated in. Am I saying this right? I don't even think, honestly, I don't know what happened, okay? I don't know what exactly happened between Corey and the young lady. I don't know. I could tell you what I believe didn't happen. First of all, she said she wasn't physically abused, right? It was a mental and emotional manipulation. It's like, bro, why are you sticking around somebody that is mentally and emotionally manipulating you? I have a guess. They have something that you want and they dangled it in front of you and you're biting because you want to be around them because they have something that you want. And he's at fault for that. You're a user. And so was he. If that's the case, you guys were using each other. And when he had no use for you, he tossed you to the side. How is he wrong for that? If y'all were using each other, I don't get it. I don't get it. If you knew what it was, and you kept putting yourself in that cycle, you're at fault. How are you 30? You might be my age. You're older than Corey. It's like, I say all that to say, man, look, people change. Real talk. That's just life. People change. People change. I've changed. I'm not the same person I was 3 years ago. I'm not. And at this point, I can't be. I have a almost 3-year-old daughter. How could I be the same person that I was before she got here till now? I had to have evolved. You can say he changed. I say he evolved. It's evolution. You might not like it. That's fine. Move on and stick and hang around the people that act the way that you want them to act, that you like. Life is really simple. It's as simple or as complicated as you make it. I get a little bit of like secondhand embarrassment from watching all of this. I'm in the same age range, and to like be that age and be in that place, in that mindset, that's some real hurt. I ain't gonna lie, it's real hurt. I believe that he did hurt y'all feelings. I do believe that. But y'all are handling it so disgracefully. So disgracefully. Y'all ain't got nothing better to do. I ain't even been on this train to even like really come to the rescue for Corey. You know what I'm saying? But this is like coming from somebody who has a very broad perspective. I can look at the whole thing. I can relate. And I think y'all just need to get a life.